So, thank you to the Academy for this.
Having worked in the film and TV industry as an editor since 1995, 2 decades at the time of recording, Joe Walker is known for his contributions to numerous films, with these including the likes of Arrival, 12 Years a Slave, Blade Runner 2049, Hunger, Shame, as well as both Dune and Dune Part 2. He is most frequently spoken about when two of his most notable collaborations are brought up in discussion, those being the renowned Hollywood directors Denis Villeneuve and Steve McQueen. He's a 3-time nominee and 1-time winner of the Academy Award for Best Film Editing, picking up the accolade in 2022 for his work on the foremost blockbuster epic, Dune. Born and raised as a Catholic in Ealing in West London on the 2nd of October 1963, Walker grew up with parents whose academic persuasion stood in contrast to their son's more artistic leanings. His father, Joseph Walker, was a history master, and his mother, Florine Johnson's past involved working as a shorthand typist for Winston Churchill. Nevertheless, Walker's love for the arts shone through, as evidenced by the position he holds in the film industry today. That being said, his passion was not always one for film editing specifically. A notable detail about Walker's past is that he initially specialised in music and trained as a composer, earning a BA degree in music from the University of York in 1984. This explains the reasoning behind him starting out as a sound editor, initially doing temp work for the BBC, essentially working on placeholder music used in the editing process prior to the completion of an original score to help guide the atmosphere of a scene. His first few jobs as a film editor were on documentary pieces about classical music, before finally working on the fiction series Out of the Blue, and completing his transition from a sound editor to an established film editor. Despite his past specialising solely in music and sound, he has ironically become known for doing his utmost to avoid the uses of temp tracks, much in spite of the role he initially worked in the industry as. As he stated in an interview with fellow editor Gordon Burkell, he believes that temp tracks are unfair to composers as they tie their hands behind their backs, and that they prohibit the investigation of silence and the investigation of sound effects. Walker's greatest issue with temp tracks is their temporary nature, so he instead prefers to edit his scenes with the speakers switched off when possible, ensuring that the scene works on a visual basis before considering how to incorporate sound and music to create a totally coherent whole. This unique tactic could indicate that Walker prefers to edit more in line with the desired effects of a particular scene, rather than with the sole aim of maintaining continuity. This is not to say that he is inherently an editor who champions discontinuity as a guiding principle in his work, but rather that he isn't afraid to engage in the usage of it in moments where it might allow for the viewer to better orient themselves within the mood of a particular scene or the headspace of a particular character. Take this famous spice mining scene from Dune, in which the protagonist, Paul Atreides, succumbs to the overwhelming effects of the powerful substance known simply as spice. A break in continuity occurs when Walker chooses to use a jump cut from a closer, in-focus shot of Paul to a slightly further away and out-of-focus one. This places the viewer in Paul's disoriented headspace and is therefore an example of the kind of justified discontinuity which acts as a key principle in Walker's editorial philosophy and is prevalent throughout his body of work. Another use of subversive editing which I would like to address is a far less explicit one. In Villeneuve and Walker's second collaboration, that being 2016's acclaimed science fiction piece Arrival, the non-linear structure and manipulation of film grammar allows for the plot twist of the film to have even more of an impact. Like in Dune, the protagonist of the film, translator Louise Banks, experiences recurring intrusive visions. These visions depict her life with her daughter, each one appearing as if it were a memory of the child before her untimely death. Walker leads us to believe that these are memories of Louise's late daughter through the use of the Kuleshov effect. By cutting between the visions and Louise's forlorn expression, we are led to believe that she is in mourning. This ultimately makes the reveal that what the viewer and Louise have been witnessing are in fact visions of the future all the more devastating and unexpected, since, given our familiarity with flashbacks in non-linear stories and our understanding of Soviet montage theory and the Kuleshov effect, we are expected to understand the visions as flashbacks. This structural technique allows for the editing of Arrival to act as a subversion of expectations, taking established conventions of editing and subtly using their logic against the viewer. Today, Joe Walker stands near the summit in the hierarchy of established editors. His craft has led to invaluable collaborations with some of film's most respected artists as he too continues to rise in status. While the next project he works on remains a mystery at this time, there's little doubt that his is a name which over time will grow increasingly synonymous with the boundless potential which the craft of film editing continues to possess.